So the finger fitness test is a battery of tests that measures the physical capacity of older adults and their ability to perform everyday activities. So we're going to go through each test. We're going to start with the lower body flexibility test. So I have Mary Louise here to help demonstrate this. And so you'll find the preferred leg. So give the participant a couple of tests on each leg to see which one that they feel most comfortable with. And they'll know, because one will be more flexible than another. And that's going to be their preferred leg. So for Mary Louise here, it's the right leg. And when you establish that leg, have them do 2 practice ones as a warm-up, and then 2 trial ones, and you'll measure the 2 trial ones and take the best one. And the way that they'll do this is I'm going to have Mary Louise hold her hands like this with the middle finger overlapping, one middle finger overlapping the other. And then she's going to reach down and reach down as far as she can toward her toe. Her toe's going to be up, her knee's going to be straight, and you can see where the hamstring comes up, and there's that crease where the upper hamstring meets the glutes. She's going to have that in line with the edge of the chair. So, okay, Mary Louise, go ahead and demonstrate that. Lean forward. Okay, so she's got her fingers right here on the toe. I mean, that's about as far as she can go. And that would be a 0. Go back down and come, don't go quite so far. So come back down and come to there. If she came to there, I would then measure with a ruler, and in inches, it's from her middle fingers to the top of her shoe, 3.5 inches, okay? And that would be a negative. Now, if she were going beyond her toe, I would measure that, okay? And let's say that she was 3.5 inches beyond her toe, I would measure that and make that a positive. And that's how you will score this lower body flexibility test. And again, she'll do 2 of those, and you'll take the best score. The height and weight test is to establish the BMI, or body mass index. And that's simply done by measuring the height of the participant and also finding their weight. And then you can use the height and weight conversion chart in the back of the senior fitness test. It's Appendix F in the back of the actual manual, and that will test BMI. So this test is the shoulder flexibility and mobility test, testing upper body flexibility, and also the natural rhythm of the scapulothoracic region. So we'll allow 2 trial tests for the participant to find, again, which side feels more natural to them. So Mary Louise, go ahead and do a practice where you bring one hand up from behind, one overhead like this, and you can see that we're going to measure the distance between each hand. Now try the other side with the other arm going up, the other one. Oh boy, that's pretty evident that the first one she did was her preferred one. So, okay, go ahead and relax. So that's the one that we're going to measure. So, okay, so now we're going to do 2 tests on her preferred side. Okay, and then I'll show you what we'll measure. So go ahead and bring your right arm up. Okay, so we're going to measure, even though she's not totally lined up vertically, we still are going to measure from her middle fingers, okay, like this with the ruler. Okay, so she's at 6 inches. Now, because there's a space here, okay, it's 6 inches, which will be a negative because she's not touching. And if she were touching, it'd be a 0. But I'm going to measure to the nearest 1/2 inch, okay, but I've got her right at 6 inches. So, okay, relax. Again, if she were touching, it'd be a 0. If she had the flexibility and the mobility to actually overlap, we would then measure, maybe it's 2 inches overlap, and we would mark that as a positive. Okay, so that's how we score and perform the upper body flexibility test. Okay, here we have it's called the 8-foot up and go test. This is one of my favorites, and it tests dynamic balance and agility. What you'll do is you'll set up a chair, preferably up against a wall for safety, and then you'll measure from the edge of the chair in front here. Okay, what I did is measured right here from the front of the chair, and with a measuring tape came out 8 feet, and put the cone 8 feet from the chair. So I'll have Mary Louise sit on the edge of the chair, back straight, hands on thighs. So go ahead and put your hands on your thighs. And she can stagger her feet if she wants, and that's probably a preferred way to do it. You'll give them a practice run, okay? So this will be her practice run. So I'll say on your mark, get set, go, and on go, you'll get up, walk around the cone as fast as you can. No running, just walking as fast as you can. So I have my watch that has a timer. On your mark, get set, go. Good, okay. So that was 7.1 seconds. You will start the timer on the word go, and even though they're still seated and they haven't gone yet, so it's on your command of go. Okay, so so let's do two, so we're going to do 2 tests now. That was a practice. Do 2 tests. We'll take the best score of these next 2.
And do I wait between?
Yes, you do. Okay, on your mark, get set, go. Walk as fast as you can. And stop, and then rest. Okay, so that was 6.7 seconds. And we'll give you a little bit of rest, and we'll do another one. Ready? On your mark. On your mark, get set, go. Good. Okay. Excellent. So that was 6.2 seconds. So we'll take that one because that was faster than the one at 6.7, obviously. So that's the 8-foot up and go test. So this is the chair stand test, and it measures lower body strength. We are going to time Mary Louise how many chair stands, full stands, she can do in 30 seconds. So it has to be a full stand, and I'm going to have her demonstrate a common error that we see when a participant will stand up, but they don't stand up all the way. So, Mary Louise, go ahead and do 2. Yeah, good. One more. See how she's not, yeah, good. Her torso wasn't coming all the way up, so those wouldn't count. So, when you do this test, instruct them to sit in the middle of the chair like she is, and she will actually cross her hands across her chest like this, so the wrists are crossing. And she will just, she'll do a couple, so do 2 practice ones all the way up. Yeah, and then one more, just so that she gets the sense of what what the participant's going to do. So on my command, when I say on your mark, get set, go, I will time it for 30 seconds, and she will go as fast as she can, and then I will count how many she does in those full in the 30 seconds. Now, if she's more than halfway up on the last one, then you count that. Okay, ready? On your mark, get set, go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. 5, and stop. Okay, so we stopped her early, but obviously you'd go the full 30 seconds, and that is the chair stand test measuring lower body strength. This is the arm curl test, and it measures upper body strength. So you'll want to have your participant sit on the middle of the chair, straight back. Women will use a 5-pound dumbbell. Men will use an 8-pound dumbbell. And the test is how many full range of motion arm curls can they do in 30 seconds. So what you'll do is it'll show the participant, so go ahead and do come on up, give a quarter turn, and then up like that. So do a couple of demonstrations with the participant. Let them do a couple more on their own at a slow movement. Come back down, that's perfect. One more. Okay, now do a couple more as fast as you can. Good. And rest. Now, so you want to give them a warm-up like that so they have an idea of good forms with some slow repetitions, and then, of course, when they do the full 30 seconds, they'll go as fast as they can. Now, Mary Louise, I noticed that when you came up, when you went fast, you came up and your elbow came up by movement of the shoulder. You want to keep that elbow in as tight as you can to the body, to the side of the body. So don't let the elbow come up. Just keep that elbow totally tucked in, okay? So now sit up straight. Okay, so on this one, this will be the real deal, and it'll be for 30 seconds on the command go. Ready, set, go. Good, good, that's it. See how that's staying stationary there? And she has that rotation. Keep going, and stop. We'll stop there, but you'd go on for the full 30 seconds, and then count how many she did in the 30 seconds, and that is the arm curl test, measuring upper body strength. Okay, this test is tests the aerobic endurance of an older adult, and this is the 2-minute step test, and so we have to measure the distance of which her knee is going to come up on that step. And the way we're going to do that is measure from her iliac crest, which is that most bony part on the hip, and then we'll measure down to the middle of the patella. And on Mary Louise, it's 20 inches. So obviously half of 20 is 10. So I'm going to put my finger on the 10-inch mark, and I have tape already in place that I can use. I'm going to place it on her thigh there. Okay, so there's the marker on her thigh. Now I have to place another piece of tape on the wall. The way I'm going to do that is have Mary Louise turn around, and I have another piece of tape ready. Okay, so come close to the wall, and I'm just going to then place that piece of tape and match it with the one that's on her leg. Okay, now step away from the wall over here. Okay, so here's the height. That's kind of crooked. Let me straighten it out. Okay, so there's the height. But I have found it much easier to take a longer piece of tape at that height, because she's going to travel back and forth just naturally, and that gives me some wiggle room or her some wiggle room to be able to, as she's doing this step test. So what I'm going to have her do is come close to the wall, okay, and when I say go, she's going to march in place, and both knees have to go at the height of the tape or higher. If it doesn't, then I don't count those steps, and I remind her, I tell her to keep going during that 2 minutes, but remind her to get the knees up, but I can't count the ones if they're below the tape. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So on go, you'll march in place and getting both knees at the height of the tape or higher. Okay, and then so obviously I have a watch that I can time in 2 minutes. So on your mark, get set, go. High, I'm going to count the number of times the right knee, keep going as fast as you can, comes up to the height of the, okay, keep going, higher. Okay, now keep going, but back up a little bit. Back up a little bit as you keep going. Good, higher. Good, as fast as you can for 2 minutes. This is a 2-minute drill. Good, high, and stop. Okay, now obviously the participant would keep going for 2 minutes. But you can see how she started to move forward, and that's why I have a longer piece of tape to allow for that. But I instructed her to move back, but also instructed her to keep moving, not to stop. And you'll run into that when you do this 2-minute step test. Again, that's the 2-minute step test to test aerobic endurance.